reason that the religion system in Asia is quite different with the Western religion, especially some beliefs are not viewed as a religion but rather than a philosophy. So this video will not explain about Taoism by following to the basic religion structure. So even if you have any objections, please still show some of your respect. If you are ready, then here we go. Taoism in academic circle refers to the belief of Tao. It is the highest belief gradually from on basis of the ancient Chinese religion belief, folks' beliefs in gods, animism, and other local religious concepts. There were a lot of Taoism organizations during the Eastern Han Dynasty. The creator and the first leader of Taoism, Zhang Daolin, and Lao Tzu's Dao De Jing, as the classic cultivate immortal. This is a kind of Chinese religion that have this pursuit of cultivation of becoming immortals as their final goal, also called as xian. So it is important to note here that most of the short videos that you can find on the internet today that introduce about Taoism, most of them confuse Taoism with Taoists as one same thing. But Taoists and Taoism are fundamentally different. So Taoist is an academic genre, a kind of philosophical thought. It is mainly to understand operating rules and the tracks of the world. In small AMP used in cultivate one's patience, characteristics, personalities, and depth of thought. In large, it can teach you how to govern the country. On the other hand, Taoism is a religion. It becomes a completely religion system during the Northern and Southern Dynasty, which personified the Tao, or say the way of the life, and divided into various gods for worship as the mainstream. It takes the way of using philosophy thoughts of practice itself, fly away from the world, becomes immortal. So Taoism used some of the Taoist ideas, but not Taoist. The Taoists themselves have no intention of trying to become immortals. The two are not to be mixed up at all. The Lao Tzu is not founder of the Taoism mentioned in many short videos. Zhang Daolin is the founder. Lao Tzu is the founder of the Taoists. Taoism is a polytheistic religion. In 2,000 years, Taoism has constantly added new gods and new goddesses, forming a huge system of Chinese mythology. If you want to understand Taoism, you have to start from here. So in the system of Chinese mythology, there are gods, xian, yao, spirits, humans, and ghosts. Gods and goddesses refers to descendants or incarnates of the different wise race during the Kunlun period. Also are the descendants between human and gods and goddesses. As far back as 12,000 years ago, human and gods were recorded to have lived side by side. It was not until the extraordinary events about 4,300 years ago that periods of cohabitation of human and gods become to an end. Xian are the different from gods and goddesses. Xian are the spirits who are especially appointed by the gods to manage the affairs of the celestial world and human world. Most of them have the identity of human beings or Yao in the first place. Some humans have the great achievement when they are alive, will elect by the gods and become Xian after their death. For Yao, they will become Xian after they went over their trials. Every 10,000 years or so, the gods come to the celestial world to inspect them whether they are doing their job or not. Yao close to the meaning with the magic creature, but not the same thing. They are the beings that have internal life that forms by animals, plants, even stones, and many other things that have spiritual body after the cultivation, but does not appear in the immortal book. At the same time, it also refers to some xian who arrives to the human world without official approval. They are expelled from the celestial world. For the vast majority of Yao, it is possible to have name on the immortal book and get rid of this awkward identity as a Yao. Once their names are in the immortal book, it means that they can walk openly between human world and celestial world. Since China have the concept of animist, which we believe that everything in our world has soul or natural spirit, a tree and a stone have the same value and rights as a human beings, and spirits, which are the previous form of Yao, refers to the certain plants or animals that form spiritual body by the nourished elites of natural elements. At this point, they are ready from their own soul and the very basic foundation of self-awareness. Humans, which is you and me, don't need to be explained too much. All you need to know is that there are some people become xian after death because they are great achievements during their life, or they have approach to enlightenment, and become xian to keep our world in function. So after death of a person, the soul that will wander in the world, which is we all know called ghost. After the death of creatures, plants, or yao, there is a soul that will still wander in the world called mei. For ghosts and mei, they are not afraid of death because they are already dead. You cannot kill them again, but they are usually afraid of this destruction of their soul pieces and weaker pieces, because those are the resources that made up their soul. If you lose any of them, then they cannot even enter to the reincarnation. Don't even say the destruction of those pieces. That will totally remove their existence from all of the worlds, like final death. What Yao and spirits most afraid of is to find their numinum, and that's equal to their heart. For example, a willow tree Yao, who takes the form of human being and moves around outside, all of his powers and roots are derived from that ancient willow tree, and that tree is a numinum. If you destroy the willow tree, then you kill that willow tree Yao. This is why the Yao and spirits usually do not show their numinum to people, but will turn into other forms to walk around the world in order to hide their own numinum. And all of this is in order to become xian and to be listed in the immortal book, because they can become immortal only if their names are on the book. But to be aware, it is only meant to be immortal, but it doesn't mean never dead. Immortality means that the appearance of the xian does not change unless they intend to, which that means that their soul and spirits are perpetuated, not body. So the central thoughts of the Taoism is together for long times to divide, long periods to division. The world is ever-changing, and all of these are natural, inevitable, and granted. There is no absolute black and white and only relative fusion between them. Find the laws and how the world functions by using that to determine which kind of behavior leads to which kind of future, and consider clearly of the causal relationship. Then, according to your heart, to choose the way to go. Let it be nature truth. Be able to fearless and not too confused. The successors will always have the clear path of their life, and their heart will no longer shake. So it might be easy to get confused between Christianity, Buddhism, and Taoism, but the difference between Christianity, Buddhism, and Taoism is that Christianity pays attention to how to communicate with God, Buddhism pays attention to how to communicate with oneself, and Taoism pays attention to how to communicate with the world. To put it more simply, it's that Christianity believes that God will save you, and Buddhism believes that only you can save yourself. Well, the Taoism thinks that it's none of my business, you don't need to be saved. Whether you're a believer or not, there are quite a few who has betrayed to a certain degree does have the ability to do some supernatural things. Some can look straight at the sun, some can jump off from a high cliff and without getting hurt. Some can float across a river and walk on the water by just standing on a piece of bamboo. Even the Taoist temple that normally want to have someone who actually can directly interact with the wild animals, even communicate with it. It may sound fanciful like I'm bragging right now, but it is not impossible. So, for example, by interacting with the wild animals, creatures can sense the threat through smell and aura. If you have self-adjust your own breath, be piercing mad, let your aura field be able to achieve the same degree with the surrounding nature's aura field, then they will get around to you, as your heart and bodies are calm and peaceful. On the contrary, if your heart is too impetuous, then even sitting still is too difficult to get close to them. But this does take a lot of practice, unless you are really talented about it. And finally, I would like to recommend some Taoist-related things that you guys will probably be interested in. Actually, I just want to advertise for them. So, with the rising entertainment industry in China, Xinxia type of literary and artwork has used the Taoism as the base, has become more and more popular in these years. They have jumped off from the novels and adapted into movies and television medias. For more and more movies and dramas are coming out each year, such as Legends of Demon Cats, 大明王朝, Love and Dynasty, The Promise, and so on are important sources of novels towards the entertainment IP industry chain, and gradually formed a unique Xinxia culture. If you are interested, you can go to wuxiaworld.com or follow a YouTuber called Asia Drama News. I actually think you can even find some of the drama directly on YouTube for free. On the other hand, anime and games, the mythological universe begins to emerge. This is a multi-series genre of works sharing the same chain's mythological worldview and a story system. For example, like Naja and White Snake that was placed from last year was pretty well known in China. Even though the Xinxia still takes a place at here, some are good animes such as On the One Person, 魔道祖师, The Legend of Hei, and many others are really quite excellent. I personally strongly recommend The Legend of Hei, 非人哉大理寺日志, also called White Cat Legend, 侠肝义胆沈剑心, Chinese Localization Diary, and the animes I've been mentioning a moment ago. Just believe me, I've seen animations from many different countries for more than 10 years, and they are some of the best. They are really worth to well spend your time on it and no regret. I guarantee it. First one comes in 10. I beg your guests, just please go check it out. Those who are interested can actually directly search on YouTube. If you want some more specific information about it, you can go to check out this YouTuber, 动画 Reviews. He's always updates newest released Chinese animation informations. It's definitely worth it to give it a try. So at this point, it might seem I'm really off topic right now, but I have to say, Taoism along with the Buddhism, Confucianism, and our own mythology have built up our unique culture. For these thousands of years, the idea of living in Taoism have rooted deep down in our culture and our daily life that makes me even impossible to separate it. Some people may think that's just too much that I'm just writing right now, but it's fine to think that way. I don't expect everyone to able to understand it in a few minutes, and this also depends on yourself. Saying Taoism way is, believe it or not, I've got this basic idea here to you, and the rest is none of my business.
这只是个被人类遗弃的地方。
小猫？
这座石头城曾经充满了浓郁的灵力，诞生了很多妖精。我们都是被人类赶出孤独的。不要怕，我们是同类。那可是无限最强的执行者。
快走！可是走啊！
小何丢了，为了要就让我们这么狼狈。
你想报复人类吗？
我只是想回到森林里。
以后逃跑就要接受惩罚。
我不跑了，快放开我！
那以后，这里就是你的家了。